We are glad to see you again on our channel, and today, we're looking at a movie where orcs, using ancient evil magic, infiltrate the human world and start a war. In order to deal with the portal, people need to enlist the help of a supreme magician. For many years, war had been waged between orcs and men. There was a time when orcs did not yet know who their enemy was and what green magic would do to them. The scene is shown as on a sandy ground. An orc speeds up and runs at a man. He swings his weapon and attacks. Orc Duratan sits near his pregnant wife, Draka. She says she feels his look, and he replies that he thought she was asleep. Draka says that she did, saying that she dreamed of hunting in snow. Duratan lay down beside her. Draka says that she has given the child a name, to which her husband agrees to keep it with her. Then Draka asks how Duratan will name his son. Duratan rejoices that he will have a son and asks his wife if she can hide her belly. Draka. Duratan goes with another orc, Audrey, to a common gathering of clans. He notices that all clans are here in one place. A woman with blue skin in a cage stops an orc girl, a half-breed, Garona, who walks by and asks her to let her child go. The orc man replies that he needs them all. Garona, Gul'dan, the warlock, stands at the very top, surrounded by a green light. He says that the source of his magic is life itself, and that there are enough prisoners to bring only strong warriors. But even that will suffice, as enemies are weak and can be used as a source. Then a new portal will be built, and the horde will be transported to another world. Orcs who listen to all this rejoice. Gul'dan begins witchcraft. He takes the life of prisoners and uses it to open a portal to that world. Orcs begin to enter the green portal. Duratan goes first, followed by Draka. As they move between worlds, Draka begins to give birth. Gul'dan. On landing in that world, Gul'dan sees that she is pregnant, but tells her to push and helps to give birth. The newborn baby is all blue and not breathing. Gul'dan then takes the life of a deer that has gone out into the meadow right in front of them and passes the power to the baby. Gul'dan says there is a new warrior in their clan. Ironforge. Anduin Lothar receives news that someone has attacked one of their garrisons. As Anduin Lothar is the queen's brother and commander, he must go there immediately. Anduin Lothar, Stormwind. Anduin Lothar arrives at the scene and learns that the bodies of the dead were searched by some stranger. The guards say that they caught him. Anduin Lothar enters the room where the stranger is sitting, abruptly puts him with spades on the table, lifting his sleeve and seeing the mark. The stranger is Khadgar, the sorcerer from Kirin Tora. He asks to be allowed to examine the bodies to understand who attacked them. When they examine one body, they discover remnants of green magic. Khadgar says that they should summon the supreme mage, Medivh. Anduin Lothar orders to take the sorcerer to Golden-Zine. Khadgar. Anduin Lothar and Khadgar go to the king. He asks how an entire garrison of soldiers can disappear at once. Khadgar introduces and says that he was trained as a magician, but he left the training. Despite this, he says that he has not forgotten what he can, and when he felt the dark magnesium, he could not stay away. He asks that the Supreme Guardian to be summoned as soon as possible. At the same time, the soldiers notice some smoke in the southeast. The king gives approval by handing Anduin Lothar a magic ring. Anduin Lothar, along with Khadgar, sit on a large bird and go to the supreme mage, Medivh. The orcs capture the civilians. Duratan says there should be worthy rivals, not unarmed women with children, to which he is told that he will honor the ancestors, and now they have orders. Anduin Lothar and Khadgar arrive and are greeted by Moros. Anduin Lothar asks Khadgar to wait downstairs, but he himself goes upstairs. Medivh is engaged in sculpture. He creates a golem. The wizard says that it usually takes years for the sculpture to soak in magic, but here, everything is different. Anduin Lothar says they need the help of Medivh and that the king is calling him. The wizard is wondering what kind of guy is waiting downstairs. Medivh. Khadgar is examining the books in the vault. He notices some magic nearby. Khadgar approaches the shelf where he feels it, and with a sign on his hand, finds the right book. At this time, Medivh appears and uses magic to repel Khadgar. He begins to explain that they need the wizard's help to explain the filth. It is magic that is unparalleled. It feeds on life itself, perverts the host and everything he touches. This magic has great power, but the price for it is terrible. Medivh says that there is no place for evil in their world, and that Khadgar did the right thing. They set off on their way. Medivh makes a circle with the help of magic. The three of them get inside and in the same second transfer to the king. The king immediately brings everyone up to speed. He says they are attacked by giants on wolves, ruthless monsters. Medivh says he is the keeper and protects this world. They think what to do with Khadgar and decide to take him with them. They are heading for the elven forest. Medivh sees the remnants of the portal and says it is impossible. It is indeed filth magic. At this point, orcs attack people from the trees and battle ensues. Medivh summons his magic and saves the party from destruction. The surviving orcs, including Durotan, flee. Medivh is transferred to Karajan. Lothar says they need a prisoner. Durotan at this time sees Garona and frees her from the chains. The latter escapes. Lothar catches one of the orcs by laying him down on the ground and driving out his wolf. And Khadgar uses magic to catch the half-breed Garona. They put the prisoners in a cage. Lothar starts asking who they are and what they need. Garona responds in human language, which infuriates the orc. He gets up and rushes at Garona, but Lothar takes his life in time with a sword. The Garona is brought to the king. She reveals that the orcs are not from this world, but their world is dead. Now they take this world. She tells of the Great Gate, and that the orcs brought magic here. Garona also says that she has learned human language because orcs take captives, many of whom are still alive. They are needed to feed the gate. The king tells Garona that if she helps them, she will be released. At this time, the orcs have justice. Gul'dan calls to himself Terrible Chernuk, the leader of the horde, and says that he allowed people to take the lives of their warriors. For this, he will die. Terrible Chernuk takes green magic in his hand, but Durotan cuts off his hand, saving him from death. Durotan says that they fought bravely, but the sorcerer of the people used filth against them. Gul'dan is angry and says that only he controls it. He asks the orc if he wants to challenge him. Durotan replies that he respects Gul'dan, but that filth is the spawn of death. Gul'dan says the board is taking lives. Medivh asks Garona who told Gul'dan about the gate, and she says it is a demon. Then the king's wife brings the Garona blankets, saying that the night will be cold. She also draws attention to the chain around Garona's neck and says she will order to remove it. The king's wife says there's a future for Garona if she wants to. Khadgar studies the book he found and realizes that someone had helped Gul'dan on this side of the portal. Durotan at this time reasoned with another orc that the sorcery of Gul'dan would destroy all their land and must be stopped. And in this can help people. People pause at this time. Garona says they don't understand how humans survive because they have fragile bones and few muscles. She reveals that her mother lost her life immediately after her birth and that Garona has only her fang left. Khadgar also tells about himself. His parents gave up learning magic at age 6 and never saw them again. The next morning, Garona takes the men to the Great Gate, where all the prisoners are. Durotan approaches Garona and asks her to tell the King of Men that he wants to meet him. Garona asks if he will take her into his clan later and is told that she is better off here with the people. Garona tells the king about the meeting offer. Khadgar at this time shows the keeper of Medivh everything that he found in the book, but he gets furious and burns everything. Khadgar shows the hidden page of Lothar and says that the orcs were invited from this side of the gate. Durotan, along with other orcs, come to meet the king. Garona translates everything he says. The orc explains that their world is destroyed, and that he wants to save his people because the filth is destroying everything. While they are talking, the orcs ambush and realize they have been betrayed. The battle begins. Medivh uses magic to create a force field, fencing off a part of the men from the orcs. Lothar's son is on the other side of the shield. In front of Lothar, one of the orcs, Blackhand, the strongest warrior, defiantly takes his son's life. Medivh has no powers. It is brought to Karajan and put in the pool with healing magic. When Medivh opens its eyes, Khadgar draws attention to the fact that they emit green light. Khadgar quickly departs and heads for the mages at Kirin Tora Dalaran. Khadgar penetrates there into a magical object, about the purpose of which even wizards do not know. He learns that Medivh has struck filth. The magical creature also says that there is light in the filth in addition to the bad. At the same time, Medivh is completely covered with the filth, and he takes the life of Moroes. The water in the pool becomes green. Lothar grieves for his son after his loss, consumes wine. Garona tries to help him, calm him. They have a love affair. Medivh appears at the king's conference and tells him to send the rest of the army to attack the portal. He convinces them that they can close the portal together with the orcs. Lothar becomes enraged at this suicidal plan and tries to attack the mage, but he is stopped and arrested. Medivh gets approval for his plan. Blackhand, meanwhile, asks Gul'dan to destroy the Northern Wolf clan. Gul'dan allows. Blackhand soldiers work under the scheme, kill the strong, capture the weak. Durotan's friend, the orc, realizes his guilt and helps his wife and child escape, frees Durotan himself from captivity. But the Northern Wolf clan has already been destroyed. Durotan's wife, fleeing the chase, releases the child down the river, and then throws herself at her pursuer and takes his life. During the contraction, she herself is severely injured. The portal is ready to open. Durotan wants to show the orcs who Gul'dan really is. He calls Gul'dan to the fight. Gul'dan uses magic during the fight, first in secret and then in full power. Thus, he breaks the rules of the fight. Gul'dan deprives Durotan of life. The orcs are disappointed and turn away from the ruler. However, the revolt does not begin, because Gul'dan takes life of a few more orcs. Khadgar arrives in the city and wants to stop everything, but realizes he is late. He then frees Lothar from its captivity, and with it is transferred to Karajan. People begin an attack on orcs. Gul'dan opens the portal, thereby launching new warriors. Khadgar and Lothar are fighting Medivh and his lively stone sculpture. They manage to lure the wizard into a trap and crush him with a sculpture. Medivh is dying. There is a battle between bad and light in him. Light defeats, and Medivh uses the last power to cast a spell that changes the portal from Draenor to Stormwind. People feel the support of the mage and break through to the portal, stand in a circle and begin to carry captives there. But there are still a lot of orcs. Gul'dan has endowed Blackhand with the power of evil. Medivh dies, and without his sorcery, the portal is closed. The filth attempts to get into Khadgar, but he makes light of it and becomes the new guardian. However, Khadgar cannot activate the portal. The king, seeing the situation, demands that Garona take his life, thereby gaining the trust of the orcs. The Garona suffers, but impales a dagger into the king right near Blackhand. Orcs rejoice and make her a full warrior. Lothar, on a large bird, tries to take the king's body, but he is knocked down and loses consciousness. When Lothar comes to, he challenges Blackhand. There is a battle between them, and Blackhand is killed. Gul'dan intends to kill Lothar for this, but Garona dissuades him and he surrenders, fearing losing control of the orcs. He releases Lothar and he flies away with the body of the king. Lothar notices what weapons have taken the king's life, and understands who did this. During the king's funeral, the heads of all races gather at Storm Grand. Lothar becomes the new leader. The film ends with an orc child being dragged out of the river by a man. This is the film Warcraft, created jointly by the USA, Canada, China, and Japan, in the genres of fantasy, action, adventure, and directed by Duncan Jones.